I know we have a lot of new people here that don't know all our procedures and things that we do, that we like to do. But this park was built on volunteers, okay? I remember when we bought the park from Swire, every Saturday morning after Breakfast Club, there was a group that stayed here and cleaned the hall themselves. And that, so then after a few years, I think it was Helen Sherrill, wrong one. They decided they wanted to say thank you to some of these hard workers. Now, if you've only been here a year and you think you might have done a lot, you haven't done anything, really. But we expect you to do more years. This was started back in April of 1999. The very first recipients of this was Carl and Sis Tipton, which a lot of you will still remember. Marie Holman, the little lady who was still 90 years old, and she'd come in and she'd straighten the tables in here. She actually had a stick that she would put, well, we had long tables at that time, the brown ones, and she would measure with that stick exactly where they went and put so many chairs at it. She did that until she moved out of the park, and she was, I think, 98, something like that at that time. Ethel Kufka, one of the first, they started Breakfast Club actually. They'd ride their bikes. Everybody rode their bikes around the park. Then they would stop in and visit, and that's how they decided they were going to, well, we should have some coffee, you know, we should have something to eat. So they added that to it. And it ended up, then everybody got kind of lazy, I guess, and we didn't ride around the park except for the Tiptons, Marie and Ethel. They did that up until they absolutely couldn't do it anymore. So with the pandemic, it kind of messed things up, and I thought it was time that we honor two different groups today, or people today. And I'm going to have Althea do the announcing. When you're called, please come up.
You give the names, because you don't have the names. Last name. Okay, then I do one at a time. Ron Grew, if you would come up, please. It's a long walk. Ron and his wife Mary moved to Oakwood Manor in 1999. He looked after his wife for many years until she passed away with cancer in July of 2013. They had 2 daughters, Angel and Sandy, 4 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. Afterwards, he decided to get involved in volunteering at the club. First things was a pool party popcorn man. When we got him to go in the pool, it was the first time ever. He helped with barcodes and decals. He is best known for his wonderful coffee. Every Saturday he would arrive here at 5:30 to empty the carafes that he had filled with hot water the night before. During peak season, there would be as many as 36 of them. He did this so the coffee would stay hotter at Breakfast Club. He also made coffee for most of the men's club dinners and special individual events. He was instrumental in starting Fast Track on Friday nights, heading the Mahjong games on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. He shared the job of keeping the clubhouse supplies up to date. Lastly, he was affectionately known as the Popcorn Man. All this was done with love for the park. We hope once he recovers from his surgery, he'll be able to spearhead some of these events once again. I give you Ron.
Thank you very much. Whatever this is. Anyhow, I hope to get back involved with everything in the near future. About halfway through my rehab, so it's coming. Just gets a little harder when you get older, I found that out. Okay, thank you.
His name will also be put on the plaque, which is, you can look at the plaques, they're by the kitchen door back there. And the star, we want you to put it in the window where when people walk by, ride by, can see that, oh, they got the star.
As in other things in Oakwood Manor, we can't just do one, we have to do two. And the second star goes to Pete and Shirley Yoder. I'm only reading this, I didn't write it, be patient. Pete and Shirley Yoder moved to Oakwood Manor in 2007 from White Pigeon, Michigan. Prior to moving to White Pigeon, they lived in Middlebury, Indiana, where they also owned an auto parts store, which they sold when they retired. When they retired, they were full-time RVers for 3 years and traveled the country before deciding they wanted to move in to Oakwood Manor, where many of their friends from Middlebury resided. While residing in Middlebury, they raised 4 children. Try to remember this. Jerry, Carrie, Sherry, and Terry. You just had to open the door and say Airy. Somebody came. They now have 9 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. Jerry and his family live in Millsburg, Indiana. Carrie and her husband Rich live here in Oakwood Manor. Their children and granddaughter live in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Sherry and her husband live in Alpharetta, Georgia. Their children live in Colorado and Georgia. Terry and her girls live in Broadway, Virginia. And please don't mind that I don't put R's in all these words. Since moving to Oakwood Manor, Pete and Shirley have been involved in many ways. Pete was the Shuffle Club president and ran many tournaments. Shirley was Shuffle Club secretary. They were both involved very much in Breakfast Club for many years before stepping down during COVID. Shirley has organized the Toys for Tots annual toy drive, is the Sunshine Lady. Shirley was also on the landscape committee. She also is involved in the veterans cards that Oakwood Manor delivers to the Veterans Hospital. She also organized the Nifty 90s celebrations. Pete volunteers his time during the summer watching several houses for snowbirds while they're back at their northern homes, and helps Shirley whenever his help is needed, as he should. No. When we call for volunteer help for cleaning up after the hurricane or the park for the board picnic, okay, putting on decals and barcodes, cleaning tables and chairs here in the clubhouse, so many different things. Their family believes that they found the fountain of youth when they moved to Oakwood Manor. They have always helped out when asked or needed. They both are kind, compassionate, caring, helpful, and love their family and friends. We cannot thank them enough, Pete and Shirley Yoder.
In case you don't know, my real name is Perry.
Which falls into the Jerry, Carey, Sherry, Cherry, but yeah, I'm not, as you all know, very seldom am I at a loss for words. I am at a loss for words. Thank you so much. There's others so deserving. We never have done this by ourselves. We ask. It must be how we ask, because when we ask, we have volunteers that come out and just help us every time we have ever needed it. From the time we did the drive when Hurricane Michael went through, Mike Barger and Dave Short, we had a van load of stuff that needed to go. We had no idea how we were gonna get it there. They stepped up, anyhow, it showed up in northern Florida in a day. Things like that, you just put it out. We're all part of this community and we all try to work together. We appreciate this, feel there's probably others just as deserving, but let me tell you, I'm gonna hang this in our front window very proudly. Thank you so much.
Well deserved. Pete and Shirley, I know that your daughter lied to you. I don't think she's ever done that in her life, but I gave her permission to do that this time. And I actually had to lie to Ron in order to make sure that he came up too. So I think the good Lord will forgive us. Okay?